that title wasn't a joke, and yes, today we're talking about von Reuenthal's hair. Now, over the last few months, there's been a lot of comments in the Legend of the Galactic Heroes fandom about the new designs for the new anime. Most of the designs themselves are pretty much the same as the ones in the old anime, one-to-one translations just plugged into the new art style. So when determining whether or not you like the new designs, it really comes down to how much nostalgia you've got going on and whether or not you like the new art style. I personally do, but I get that some people don't, and that's totally cool. Mittermeier is probably the best example of this one-to-one translating thing, but you've got a lot of other characters who sort of fall into that category, like Bittenfeld, and honestly, Reinhardt, Yang, and Kirkeis all sort of fall within that too. Granted, Kirkeis' hair is straighter than it used to be, and Yang's hair is no longer blue, but, well, I mean, it's not supposed to be blue. That was kind of a thing that the canon just sort of threw away in the OVA, but, well, I mean, the new jackets are blue, so actually I've kind of got an explanation for that one all of its own. See, the thing is that when your character's hair, eyes, hat, and coat are all the same color, and when that color happens to be black and when the background happens to be outer space, things tend to get a little bit washed out. So, in the old OVA, they decided to change that up by giving Yang slightly blue hair to make the rest of the outfit pop. In the new anime, they decided to give him a blue jacket to make the rest of the outfit pop. Fair enough. It's a different choice, but either way it pretty much works, because you know the people who made the old OVA knew better than to put a character in a jacket that matched their hair color. But anyway, the character who's gotten the most anger from the fandom in terms of redesign on character is one Oscar von Reuenthal. And to be fair, I can totally see why. Because that looks nothing like that. Okay, I mean, I know they were designing the same character because they still got his eyes right. Those eyes being the big focal point of his character design. But the rest of it, I have questions. So do a lot of other people, and they're up in arms. I, however, think it's the most hysterically, probably accidental, perfect bit of plot development that I've ever seen in a character design. I freaking love this! Let me explain why. See, there's another character whose hairstyle got almost as much of an overhaul as Reuenthal's. And that character is Paul von Oberstein. Paul von Oberstein is another Imperial character. He now has short hair, short dark hair. Von Reuenthal now has long brown hair. But the thing is that it used to be that von Reuenthal had short dark hair, and Oberstein had long brown hair. You see where I'm going with this one? They switched hairstyles. They freaking switched hairstyles. Oscar von Reuenthal and Paul von Oberstein switched hairstyles. No, I know there's some variation, and that makes sense because, well, their overarching character designs are different. While I don't actually remember how the book designs von Reuenthal in terms of hairstyle, maybe they mentioned it like once, but whenever they describe him, it's really just a description of his eyes, so again, I don't even know if they even specified hair color or length, but Paul von Oberstein is always specified as having sort of salt and pepper, half silver hair that's also half brown. So we couldn't go all the way to Reuenthal's hairstyle because Reuenthal's hair was just black and he still needed to have the coloring from the books because they were going back to the canon on a lot of things. But, of course, Reuenthal wouldn't have the silver streaks that Oberstein did in his older design either, so... But other than those little things, yeah, they pretty much switched hairstyles. And I couldn't be more thrilled about that, because I can just imagine the sort of things that Reuenthal would be saying if he knew that he looked like Oberstein, and I can tell you for sure that they would not make it past any profanity filter. Put another way, there is no love lost between these characters. I don't know necessarily whether or not von Oberstein actively hates von Reuenthal because Oberstein, but he certainly doesn't care for him and doesn't mind seeing him thrown out with the trash, whereas Reuenthal actively hates Oberstein's guts and fervently wants him dead, even going so far as to imply to Mittermeier that if he had the choice between killing von Oberstein or their main arch-rival Yang Wen-li, it would be Oberstein's death every time. But this hair swap isn't just funny, it's also fitting as all hell. You know why? Because these two characters, despite not getting on at all, actually make really strong foils considering the fact that they are very, very similar in terms of their conceits and motivations. In the series, it might not immediately become obvious that these two are foils since they each have another counterpart. Obviously, Oscar von Reuenthal has his own foil and counterpart in his best friend Wolfgang Mittermeier, while von Oberstein is more often paired up and against both Siegfried Kircheis and then later on Hildegard von Mariendorf, as they play out their routine as angel and devil on Reinhardt's shoulders. But Oberstein and Reuenthal have a huge connection apart from the fact that they hate each other. And that connection is they both see themselves as being people who should not exist, people who should never have been born, people who the world has said must not be allowed to live. See, one is systemic and the other is more familial, but they both have this shadow looming over them. For his part, Reuenthal is the son of a mother who was much younger than her husband, and so, though relying on him financially, cheated on him and was therefore shocked to find that she'd given birth to a heterochromatic son. She has black eyes, and so does her husband, and yet the son had one blue eye, a blue eye like her lover. Fearing that this would somehow give away her affair, even though Reuenthal is hers by her husband, and therefore fearing a divorce that would put an end to her financial stability, lashed out at her newborn son before his father could see his eyes, attempting to gouge out the blue eye before it could be noted. Fortunately for Reuenthal, she was caught in the act and his eye saved, but unfortunately for him, it cost his parents their marriage, and as a result, his father drunk himself to an early grave, and every time he got really drunk, he'd shout at his son that he should not have been born. This really gouged itself into Reuenthal's brain, creating a sort of complex that would stay with him for the rest of his life. On von Oberstein's side, however, his thing, funnily enough, is also eye-based. But rather than being that he almost lost his eyes, he actually did lose them, or more precisely, he didn't have them. Well, I'm sure he had eyes, but they didn't work. Oberstein was born blind. Now, at this point of time, technology has advanced to the point where artificial eyes are a thing, and so von Oberstein can see just fine thanks to computers in the false eyes implanted in his head. However, this is undeniably a disability, and in this world, disability is not okay. The founder of the Galactic Empire, in which all these characters live, Rudolf von Goldenbaum, decided to have some happy fun times with eugenics and declared the Genetic Inferiority Act, an act by which anyone born with a congenital disability would be put to death. Yay! Let's just say that there's a reason that von Oberstein's not a fan. Now, fortunately for von Oberstein and all the other disabled people in the galaxy, this has kind of relaxed a bit in the hundreds of years since von Goldenbaum's death. And so, with his artificial eyes, von Oberstein is able to live a pretty normal life. But, firstly, it's implied that that's just because he's nobility. If he was a commoner, yeah, he'd be dead. Secondly, since von Goldenbaum created a cult of self-deification before his death, and since that cult persists to this day, von Oberstein has grown up in a society worshipping a man that says that he should not be, should not exist, should be dead, that he is worthless, and should die for the benefit of the human race. Now that's a pretty rough pill for a kid to swallow, and yeah, it leaves some serious dents in von Oberstein as he grows up. Ultimately, this is what leads to von Oberstein betraying the Goldenbaum dynasty and working with Reinhardt to bring them down, and who the hell can blame the guy? I mean, I blame the guy. I blame him for plenty, just not for that. The point is, though, that these are two cold, cunning, and calculating men, alienated from society by the fact that they feel they should not be alive, and the fact that they feel that society is against them. Both spend their lives reacting to their disenfranchisement, and both become perfect case studies for the show's overarching message about people being a product of their environment. A theme further strengthened by the pretty direct comparisons between the lives and childhoods of von Reuenthal and Mittermeier. No, I'm not saying that Reuenthal's new hairstyle was specifically made to create a narrative commentary on his relationship with Oberstein and the way the two characters parallel. And yeah, this is probably just some crazy coincidence that I can't get enough of because it is really funny. But, I mean, we do know that they were looking at the old designs. Just look at Mittermeier. They clearly weren't just working off the descriptions from the books. And if they were looking at the old Imperial designs, it would be kind of odd for them not to notice that they just grafted von Oberstein's hair onto von Reuenthal, or hell, the two characters' designs might have gotten swapped around by accident during production. Anything's possible. But, considering the fact that we know, looking at Mittermeier, we know they were looking at the old designs, I think there is at least a slight chance that this wasn't accidental, especially considering some of the other, what I might call, painful Easter eggs the new anime staff have included specifically to catch the attention and pull on the heartstrings of viewers who are already familiar with the series. Yes, that was Ansbach in the 3rd episode. Yeah-huh? Yep, that was Ansbach. Honestly, it was probably just a coincidence. But you never know. But what I do know is that it will never not be hysterical to me. And what you know is that yes, I really did just make an 11-minute video talking about Reuenthal's hair. If you enjoyed this subject and enjoyed hearing me tackle such an oddly specific topic, please like and let me know down in the comments. If you want to hear more of my thoughts on the new thesis, and why Ansbach's presence in that episode 3 was so damn important, as well as the other things that episode did to make me cry, then hit subscribe and wait for those videos. They will be coming soon, and if you want to watch something else now, and are interested in more of my thoughts on the series, then go over to my channel and check out my review of the original OVA. This is Coriander Stone, and I thank you for watching L Sign Congru, and if you're still here, then enjoy this little bonus scene.
There's a transmission, sir. The enemy has directed it to all fleets.
Play it then.
Greetings. I'm Commodore Yang Wen Li.
Fire now.